Hello. It's the morning for me. I just love my shelf. Do you see this pine cone? I found this pine cone yesterday. It was gifted to me on our evening walk. It was just like in the middle of the grass, like under these trees. No other pine cones in sight. And this gigantic pine cone was just sitting there, and it was so perfect. And I just was like, oh my God. Look at this pine cone. I was so excited. So now it's on my shelf and I'm obsessed with it. I think it's a him, so I'm obsessed with him. I decided to record because something just happened to me when I woke up, and I just wanted to share. I just started a really challenging conversation, and I'm waiting for a reply, and I was shaking, and I was like, you need to go make a tea and sit down. It's hard to both speak your mind in a confident yet kind way. And I know that there's a lot of astrological things happening, in terms of Mars just switched into Pisces, activating the mother. I kind of felt like I was reading this message, and I was getting this gut feeling of just like pins and needles almost, or kind of like butterflies, but I don't know. There's a very distinct there's a very distinct feeling in my stomach that I get, that I'm really trying to pay attention to. I'm not super well versed in human design, but I know that as a generator, I have sacral authority, and that's through part of it is through feeling. So it's what do you feel in your body? Is it a yes or a no? And one of my signs is this I just get this feeling in my stomach, and Josh and Jacob are sleeping, and I just woke up, and I was getting ready to come light my incense and see where the morning led me. And then I heard a phone ringing, and I was like, who is calling at 7:30 in the morning? And it turned out to be my father-in-law calling Josh. And I was like, oh, what's going on? So I kind of read through the messages to see what's happening, and there's been stuff happening in their world. So I read through, understood, and I just got this weird feeling in my stomach, and I'm feeling resistant to telling the story, but I guess I don't see why not. If I were to back up, it was the day that Josh and I did our podcast. So we did a pilot episode for this podcast that I wanted to call Parental Pursuits. And that's posted. So that day, I'm going to back up again. My father-in-law, Josh's dad, I keep hearing through Josh, oh, Jess doesn't like me. She never invites me over. She never wants me to come take care of Jacob. And I'm always like, why does he keep saying this? Every time I see him, we have good conversations. I don't really ask a lot of people to come see. People are always welcome to come see Jacob. But I don't typically, I'm not like, oh my gosh, you have to come over. I need this. I don't do that. I don't really do that. With Josh being home so much, I get a lot of time. I do get a lot of time to myself, and I get a lot of time with him and Jacob. And when the parents I don't reach out for a ton of support, but I wanted to do this podcast with Josh, and I was like, okay, perfect. I so I texted him and I was like, hey, like, I want to take Josh out for a date. It was also the day after our anniversary. So I was like, I want to take him out on a date. And that was my date, to go to his studio, which is his favorite place in the world. So I texted him and I was like, hey, can you come over? Can you watch Jacob for an hour? I want to take Josh out on a date. And he was like, and he lives on like the other end of the city. And like the studio is like 5 minutes away from us, like downtown, right? So he was like, oh, well, I have a lot of things going on, so like it would just be better if you came to me. And I was like, oh, it's like, but I said to him, and I was like, I got that feeling, and I was like, oh, that's kind of a bummer, because like all of his things are here, the house is completely baby proof, like he's comfortable. He doesn't go stretches without us yet, and not that he can't, but it's nice for me that it's just nice knowing that he's in his own environment. He has his food, his drinks, his dog, his toys, and it's his home. But I was like, okay, like I still want to go. I was like, I still want to do this. So I texted him back and I said, because it didn't feel good. It didn't feel good to me to drive him all the way over into this environment, and then for us to drive all the way back to the studio, and then back, and then back home. I was like, this just feels like a lot for. I just wanted to go for an hour. I just like I literally just wanted an hour. And so I texted him and I was like, hey, like, totally understand that you want to be in your home. I get that. But we're driving like we have to go just 5 minutes down the road. Like I promise you, the next time I plan something, I will plan it in the west side of the city so that I can drop Jacob off to you. We can do our activity and then come pick him up on the way home. But it would be really great if you could come to us. I was like super proud of myself. And he was just like, no, it doesn't work for me. Like, we got things going on. And then in that point, in my mind, I was like, well, if you have things going on, then how can you look after my son? If you're that busy, then you can say no. I would rather you say no and pay full attention to him. I would rather you say no and me adjust my plans than you to say yes and then be pulled into your own life when if it's disrupting you. It's like, I want you to be with him if you want to be with him. So I'm like trying to navigate. I was trying to navigate all these feelings, but then I was like, oh, like I want to do this podcast. So, father-in-law had said, well, that's the thing about childcare, like, you gotta go where it is. And I was like, it's just like, I just like, don't like, it just felt icky to me. It's like, I just didn't love the point of view. Just didn't sit well in my world. But I was like, oh girl, like I was called to do this podcast. I was like, you can make this work. It's like, yeah, you have to drive across the city, but he's going to be fine. It's just another car ride. It's not in his environment, but it's like, he'll be fine. Like he knows his grandpa. He likes his grandpa. There's a dog and a cat. He's going to be fine. I was like, your choices are, you can like fight with him and be like, well, Chris, like, you know what? If you're busy, I don't want to disrupt you. So we'll plan this for another day. So you could say that and back off and then not do the podcast. Or you can just be like, you know what? Thank you for watching him, being appreciative for what you can have. And then go do your podcast. It's just a drive. It's no big deal. It's just an extra drive. It's just gas. So we did it. We go. It like was kind of, it still felt weird. It did feel weird. I wasn't happy about it, but he had a good time. We did the podcast, all worked out. He even gave us $50. He was like, "Where's $50 for dinner?" I was like, "Perfect, thank you. That's amazing. Money flows to me with ease." I am so abundant. This life is so abundant. And then fast forward like a week and a half later, and I'm the one who happens to be out and about when this situation is brewing with him again, with him and Josh. And it's like a whole story. It's a whole story. But essentially, the messages came through and I got that same feeling. And I was like, why is this so icky? Why is his communication style just icking me so much? It's just like, it's just so fixed energy in this way, and it just doesn't feel good. It's like, you need to conform to me. I'm not going to help you in the way that you need. I'm going to make you go out of your way to do what I want, and I'm not really going to take into consideration how you feel, because this is what I want. And it's like, fair, fair. And without diving into all of the details, which maybe I will later, who knows. I just decided so I read through the messages, I figured out what was going on. And so I challenged him, and I think I did it in a really respectful way. And my phone hasn't beeped, so I don't know if the message if he's responded yet. So I'm excited to see. But there was that icky feeling, and I was like, okay, how can I approach this? And I wrote out a message, and I basically kind of challenged what he wanted in a respectful way to try to stand up for, I'm going to say our needs, because a lot of the time, you and your spouse you guys are individuals, absolutely, but there's also this package deal component to it. And so I was like, I'm just gonna lay it out there. I'm just gonna lay it out there and be like, this is what I think. Speaking from I statements. This is what I think. And I was like, this is what I think. But if this doesn't align with your worldview, and you know for a fact that you want to operate in this way, this way that I've challenged, then great. I will figure out how to accommodate. We will figure out how to accommodate that for you. But I need you to know that this is my worldview. This is how I see things for us. Blurring the lines between I and we statements. But that's okay. So I did it, and I was shaking. I'm shaking. I was like, I need a tea. I need to go sit down. But it's just reminding me of it can be so hard to stand up in your truth when other people on the line, Sarah, Sarah's been so influential. If you don't follow her, you should follow her. If you're here, I think you'd align with her, because I really align with her. Sarah Botticelli. She got those big bug-eye glasses. She's amazing. And she's been getting this vision from her guides about people being on the other side of the line. Girl, she had this I wanted to speak directly to her. If she's listening, I don't know. But she's been talking for a few videos about there's this red line, and there's just people having their tea and coffee on one side of the line, and they're like, oh my god, I love tea, and the person beside them is like, oh my god, I love coffee, and it's like, oh my god, that's so amazing, and it's like, wow, isn't it such a beautiful day? Yeah, it's such a beautiful day. But then on the other side of the line, there are these people that are like, oh my god, those people, they're on the other side of the line. How could they be on the other side of the line? They're just drinking their tea and coffee on the other side of the line. How could they be on the other side of the line? Why are they on this side of the line? and then apparently it turned into a carnival scene, and then I was having these visions of the creepy clown, and I was just thinking about that, and how life is this crazy carnival, and you're at the fair, and you're like, oh my god, I'm on this, those dreams where you're just on a ride and it just doesn't stop, and then the carnival music starts to get all distorted and wonky, and you're like, this is not fun anymore. Yeah, that really connected with me. Creepy stuff, right? I don't want to be on that side of the line. I want to be on the side of the line where everyone is drinking their tea and coffee and having a good time, and everyone's happy, and everyone's thinking about this is your worldview. That's great. I'm just going to talk about my worldview. Great. And if your worldview feels a little bit yucky to me, I'm gonna tell you that it feels a little bit yucky to me, and you don't have to change. But if you want to make adjustments, like, I'm totally open to that. And that's kind of where I'm at. What's the symbolism of a pine cone? There's like the Fibonacci sequence, little Da Vinci, right? Vitruvian Man. Pi 3.14. I don't know, right? Is that what I'm thinking? I don't know. That's sunflower. Anyways, that's my story time for today. Oh yeah, I mixed this Vata Balance tea that I get at Tea House. They have all three doshas, Ayurvedic doshas, Vata, Pitta, Kapha. They have 3 different blends to help balance. This is the Vata Balance. Or air and ether. Anyways, thanks for listening to me. That's my chat. And I'm excited to see what happens. Maybe I'll keep you updated. A little bonus video. We'll see what happens. Gosh, I'm like so excited for the day though. Like, it's gonna be such a cool day. I decided to reach out to the moms in my life and invite them to do things today, which I don't do a lot, so felt good to do. So I'm gonna spend the morning with my mom. We're gonna go to the Kellogg's Lane courtyard sale, and then my mother-in-law's gonna come at 3 at 3 and after nap time and hang out with us, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. But anyways, okay, goodbye. Mwah.